We all go a little mad sometimes.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
They're here.
Hi,
Hello.
I am the one who they call Lee, died at the age of 103. For 15 years I kept my virginity. Not a bad record for this vicinity.
And how am I supposed to follow that?
You don't.
All I had was dun 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 dun, and I'm not in the sequel.
Your child is.
That's true.
All of these sharks are related.
Yeah, there's Revenge.
There's the third movie.
There's that. Yeah, they're all terrible.
Aw, I think you're a liar.
And you're listening to They're Here,
podcast,
a discussion,
dissection,
and disembowelment
of all things horror,
fear,
and the macabre. So, today,
what do we have?
we have a titan. In
A titan?
Yeah, in the industry. A shady titan, question mark?
There is a question to that of horror industry anyway.
So one of us is a fucking retard and one of us is me. I don't know how this is even like a matter of opinion. Jaws is like almost as close to a perfect movie as I think you can have.
Well.
And I challenge you to top me.
Well.
Just as a thought.
Hetero!
The soundboard is a useful tool, I tell you.
No, for real, I think this is as close to a perfect movie as one could kind of possibly get.
Movie, yeah. Horror movie, no.
It's a horror. Why are we talking about it on our horror podcast, Nathan?
Well, because you said you wanted to have it on it. I don't necessarily agree that it's horror.
You suggested because it's the anniversary this month.
No, you said it. You mentioned it quite a long time ago.
Because why would it ever go out without question that Jaws is a fucking horror movie? It's very definitely a horror movie. What genre do you think Jaws is then?
I don't know. It's a summer blockbuster, and
that's not a genre.
Whatever.
Okay.
So we're listening to we have Jaws.
We have Jaws.
1975.
1975. God damn it! I love this movie, and I won't hear anything else of it.
Yeah, no, I'm not shitting on it. It's still a fantastically great movie. It's just not a horror movie, in my opinion.
And I would like to ask you, why do you have that opinion?
Because I'm entitled to one, and you know why?
That is so out of context. Why do you think Jaws is not a horror movie? I'm going to open the floor.
Number one, this is going to sound so stupid considering I turn around and say, like, horror in the daylight, considering what we just had last week. But yeah, I don't know, there's something to do with, like, I never found it frightening, I never found it scary. In fact, most creature feature films I don't find scary at all.
But that is, you finding something scary is not the prerequisite for a movie to be considered horror. Bitch! Wow. There's lots of movies I don't find scary that are still horror movies.
Like what?
I don't know, like name a Conjuring movie.
All of them.
An Annabelle movie. Those are very definitely horror movies. I just don't find them scary. But they're horror movies.
Well,
now, I even said earlier, if this shark was a man in a mask killing people, it would be a horror movie. But because it's a gigantic shark, it's not for some reason.
Okay. Whatever. For the purposes of this, I'll just concede the point, and...
If this shark had a third eye, you would consider it a fucking a horror movie.
No, I'd still consider it a creature feature, and in my opinion, creature features are not horror films.
Again, I'm going to turn the table around on you and ask you why.
Because it's just not scary. They're campy as fuck.
So the fuck was Black Sunday? Were you afraid of Black Sunday?
No.
But that's very definitely a horror movie, and that was campy as fuck.
I don't know. I just don't feel...
Arguably, Psycho is campier than this movie, and that's very definitely considered a horror movie.
That is true. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't think that... how do I say it? Like, I just don't see them in, like, a caliber or something like The Exorcist or something, you know?
But, like... Oh, what do you mean?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I just don't see Jaws they're both fantastically amazing films and, era-defining things. I mean, this film was what?
75.
The actual first ever summer blockbuster film.
Yeah, it's a tentpole movie where basically the entire studio was kind of held up by this one movie this summer, and everything else kind of
faded into the background.
Yeah, and kind of what I think it's like what this and Star Wars came out the same year, where it's like holy fuck, what a big year for cinema, But I'm mad over here. You're fucking. This isn't a horror movie. Yeah, I am. What happens when you put one of them chickens in those little like buckets that have all the little like things in them? You take it out and the chicken is bald. I'm plucked.
Oh my god.
I am plucked.
Plucked for your nose.
Not a horror movie. We open up with a girl getting eaten.
Well, it's questionable. She's
eaten. She's severed below the tip.
I know she's eaten, but like, the way this. First of all, I actually said this earlier. Was you can't fucking pin down the time of fucking day that this attack actually happens.
If you're us and you do the whole like let's ruin movie magic for me kind of thing, where you can spot a day to night shot, and stuff like that. Now this opening is fucking. It's stunning. It's great. It's beautiful. Like it's shot really, really well. The like mood is great. It starts off kind of like on the beach. We get Chrissy Watkins
all
and
the
her
70s
date.
hippies.
Yeah, it's great. And we get Chrissy, this kind of I don't want to say outcast. Like none of these people are from Amity. Everybody's like a summer person.
Yeah, they're just like traveling. They have this outsiders problem there.
Well, it is. I think it's like they are an island. It's like everybody on the island kind of considers themselves an islander. Even with Ellen, G. Brody's wife, she kind of gets the thing of like, when am I going to be an islander? But it's like, she is an islander. Like in the book, she is an islander. She's like, I'm not going to talk about the book like for the whole episode or the whole podcast. But
I
like,
think you should, because it provides some fun context.
Okay, well, spoiler alert then for the book. I highly recommend the book. The book is everything we get in the movie plus like all these other little like subplots that also kind of explain why certain people are motivated to do certain things, which seem kind of, I don't know, crazy in the movie, like with the mayor and stuff like that. But like Ellen is from the island, like she's an islander. She's like one of the summer people and stuff. And in the book we get like a huge kind of sense of like Martin, Chief Brody, being like an outsider because he's from New York and all that kind of stuff. And in the movie it's his first year there, so he's still like new chief of police. So everybody kind of like looks at him like, yeah, okay, whatever, fucking city dude or whatever.
He's fresh fish.
Yeah, for real. They do kind of Barrows. But like they make it very clear in this movie that he is kind of an outsider and is still kind of like finding his footing and like getting used to it, because like there's a lot of people in this movie that are kind of like, yeah, whatever, even though he's literally the chief of police. They kind of like brush him off, because he's not an islander. And we even get, this is actually going to be my opening line, where he's like, where's the kids? And she's like, they're in the yard. And he's like, or no, what is it? And then she's like, in Amity, they don't say yard, they say yad.
The yad.
The kids are out in the yad, not too far from the cat. And he's like, how did that sound? And she's like you're from New York. I love it. But yeah, so we open up with John Williams, like, well...
John Williams score.
The score.
Beautiful.
It's iconic, and it definitely took some cues from Psycho.
Yeah. Yeah, that very kind of, like, how did that, dun 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 dun.
Like,
I mean,
ominous.
It's absolutely iconic. And then, like, even you said, I remember you telling me this the first time round, because you mentioned it several times before to me, that the book, there's several, like, parts or scenes or things like that where it's from the point of view of, quote unquote, the fish.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And, like, whenever you said that, I believe, like, whatever it was the first time, it was that moment where I was like, now I understand that dun 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 dun, because it all clicks together when I hear something like that. I'm like, ooh, yeah.
I think if you were to read the book, you would very definitely change your mind on like why this was kind of like horrific. I think like just like, I don't know, I think I kind of get where you're kind of like, yeah, whatever, it's just like an animal or whatever, but it's like, no, it's like this animal is like huge. You know what I mean? Like it's gigantic. We see certain scenes kind of at the end, like we don't actually get a lot of perspective scale wise for the shark. We don't see it next to things. I think it's when Hooper's in the cage at the end, where we see like the size of the shark's head next to him, and it's like, oh shit, like this thing is Like,
big.
not just a shark. It's like some kind of like monster, mutant, fucking gigantic creature shark or whatever.
Yeah.
But damn, this opening scene I think is like one of the most iconic things in cinema.
Yeah.
You know, even just that idea of like the going out in the water and they like hearing the music and shit like that. It's like you instantly know like what that is.
Yeah.
And we kind of get a lot of, again, something kind of original-ish. I mean, I think Halloween came out 78, right?
78. Yeah.
This movie came out 2 years before or 3 years before, and we also get that kind of POV from the killer's perspective, which a lot of people credit with Halloween, which is actually kind of a Black Christmas thing and kind of a Psycho thing. We got some kind of small
Peeping Tom.
Yeah, that kind of thing of like putting you in the killer's perspective into their shoes, and we get a lot of that with the shark. We get a lot of like underneath shots and stuff like that, which is so like just the idea of like all these people swimming around. We get a bunch of scenes like that, like on the beach, where we just get all these shots from like underneath, you know.
Yeah.
And like I just like, before we start off this, I know you feel the same way. I just want to like tip my hat to Steven Spielberg. God damn it, this dude. It's not actually his first movie. It's his first like hit. His first movie was Duel.
Yes.
Like about the truck or whatever, which again is kind of a thematically kind of the same like thing with this. It's like it's Duel is like, or Jaws is like Duel crossed with like Moby Dick. But it's that like we get like Quint eventually would go on to become kind of our Captain Ahab, and like will literally go down with his ship and literally go down with his great white whale, if you will.
You talk about yourself there now.
Oh, I would love to. Like there's like, oh god.
You want him to go down on your great white
Farewell
whale.
and adieu to my fair Spanish ladies. I just want to say off the jump, Robert Shaw. Oh my god, as Quint in this movie. Damn. Like I want to live that life. I want him to be like, right, I'm going out. He leaves the house at like 5 a.m. It's not even bright yet. Goes out, gets his slick or whatever on. Has a cigarette obviously as he's leaving the house because we still smoke inside because it's the 70s. No kids. It's fabulous. He goes off and catches whatever. And he comes home and I cook it for him. And he still kind of smells like the ocean.
He smacks you with the fish.
Yeah. Oh god damn it. He's so fucking pretty in this movie.
So anyway, the girl dies.
Yeah, Chrissy Watkins. She's like in the book she's one of like, I don't know how many fucking out of towners that come in, and she gets tore up. They show like fuck all of her actually in this movie. They only really show her hand, but it's like when they find her the next day in the book, she's literally
just her chest and one of her arms.
Yeah, literally, it's
everything
like
else
just the
gone.
top kind of third. It's like from below the right breast diagonally up.
Yeah.
So she's just been like,
and her head is
chopped.
Gone.
Yeah, she's been literally tore apart. I think it's like and I only just read this. Like I only just finished rereading this book a couple of weeks ago, so it's still kind of fresh. The opening scene is so scary. It's so scary because it's like the fish starts out like 40 yards out. And then it just like senses her in the water and she's like thrashing about and all this kind of stuff. She also does this thing where she's like she goes out and then she just sticks one leg up in the air and just like,
I've seen that.
And just drops down.
Yeah, someone's a bit of a show gal.
Oh, it's so good though.
Gal.
And the way they get these kind of sounds of her like screaming is like Steven Spielberg
Very
basically
gurgly.
kind of like kind of waterboarded her, like kind of had her scream while like pouring water down her throat. But you get that. It's like the fear in this opening scene is just crazy. It's like that kind of like really like primal thing. It's like the thing of just being eaten.
Yeah.
You know, and like in the book she goes down, she feels like a brush against her leg and she doesn't like notice anything at first, and then she like goes to reach down to like feel her leg and there's just nothing there. It's just like a nub of bone. Oh. So like she's just getting like snatched. And I always was obsessed with like wanting to see like what was going on underneath the water.
Yeah.
Like I know that's like so fucked up, but like I think that's like one of the reasons I was so obsessed with this movie and like the behind the scenes is seeing the storyboards and just seeing like more of what was there. Like even with Alex Kintner later, there's like storyboards of like the shark starting down from like down below and just like circling him as it's coming up and just kind of like separating him from everybody else on the beach because he's just that little bit further out than everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's so good.
Oh,
it's so good.
Creepy. Oh, I don't like that. But the one thing I thought was absolutely hilarious is you can point out the fact that this was shot as a day, and it was color corrected.
It's the water. The water looks like grey acrylic paint. It looks crazy.
It looks absolutely awful. And like, again, I totally get it. But like, I mean, like, fucking Steven Spielberg being what, 26 when
26
he directed this. But I just like, yeah, when I'd seen this, I was like, why the... Even you said it was like, when you first watched this, I was like, why the fuck does the water look like that?
Yeah, I could never figure it out as a kid. It just looked really like
oily and
yeah,
gross.
it didn't look like water. It looked like thicker than water.
Yeah.
Or like water with like milk in it or something like that.
It just looked so weird. Like, literally, she looks as if when she splashes and like the water hits her, it literally looks like grey paint is coating her skin.
Yeah, like she's gonna come out and it's gonna be like opaque on her body.
Yeah. I mean, ironically, she does look like that when she's a corpse. But like, yeah, it's just so terrible because like there are several scenes when this film starts out. It's nighttime because they're all sitting around a campfire.
Yeah.
Then they're running along that kind of picket fence thing at the top of the beach, and when which is light because you can see their silhouettes, and then when they get to the beach you can see that the sun is up, but it's like that kind of like
it's like just starting to come up. Yeah, it's
thing.
like, and that's again like that's kind of what it is in the book. There's kind of a little bit of like thought from her perspective of being like, oh, people are just starting to wake up. Like she's like looking along the beach of like where they're staying because they're like there's like very very like small little extra pieces where it's like all these kids on the beach basically are just like out of towners that have come in and just stayed with the families that live along the beach, and she's kind of like looking and she's seeing like lights starting to like turn on, and that like makes her feel like, oh, like comfortable, like whatever, like the day is about to start. And
her day's not about to start.
Poor Chrissy Watkins. And when I was younger, this is going to sound so dumb, but like it's just one of those things that happened when I was a kid. The back of the VHS of Jaws that I had is her, like just like a little like still or whatever like that, but it looked like there was like a wig slipping off. So as a kid I was like, is Chrissy Watkins a man?
A stunt double.
Well, I always thought that because it was like that kind of like, again, like kind of half light, half whatever. And the way they did this actually, because like when I'm sure like everybody who's listening has seen this movie. This is one of those movies that when you're like, oh, if you've seen Jaws.
Spoiler alert: there's shark attacks.
Oh, yeah, spoiler. But like she's literally the cover on the poster. Yeah, she's literally the chick. But like, the way they kind of got this is they had like her in like a harness underneath the water or whatever, and she still had to kind of look naked, so she was wearing like a tiny little like one piece, and they had two like wires on either side of her, and they would just like yank the fuck out of her and kind of fuck her up. Like she got kind of bruised up, but like she also, like the actress, she speaks highly of this movie, so I don't think she was like abused or anything.
All for the art.
You should have seen what the shark did to me on set. But
that motherfucker.
That sharks are cancelled. But yeah, they're just like reefing her, no pun intended, back and forth. And I think it looks really really well. I think Steven Spielberg really had like good vision. Yeah. I think like Peter Benchley, the writer of this book, so descriptive. So I think like the book was like a very very good like basis for a movie, and it got snapped up like super quickly. It was like a #1 bestseller, and I think kind of like within a year of the book coming out, the rights were bought, and Richard D. Zanuck and the producers basically were like, we need to make this into a movie like kind of like right now. Yeah. And the kind of like promo for this was like kind of unheard of and kind of unseen at the time, where they would have clips of the movie to bring onto like talk shows and stuff like that to like promote it, and there was already kind of a built-in fan base. So there is just a different type of hype for this movie than there was for kind of movies based on books before.
Didn't they also have those you know, the TV ads that were like shark attack,
like a teaser
kind of things, where they weren't talking about the film and Jaws would come up afterwards, but like it was just that kind of things, like if like a shark was to smell blood or something, this is how fast it would travel to get to you or something like that. I really remember vividly seeing that, and I was like, holy shit, bro.
That's one thing that always impressed me about the Jaws series, and this is like one of my movies. Yeah. Like this is like, if somebody was like, you have like 2 weeks to live, and like what's one of the last movies you ever want to watch, like this would be it. Like no, before, like I watched this movie like incessantly as a kid, like kind of like to a point of like obnoxiousness, like this and the second movie I just loved. But like damn, yeah, the trailers for these movies are like, even the third one, which is a kind of arguably the, well, I don't know, the third and the fourth are like pretty shitty, but like all the trailers for them are like really
like
intense.
Psychic connection to.
I mean, yes, I guess so. And they even call it out in the second movie, where it's like one of the shark experts come in and she's like, sharks don't take things personally, Mr. Brody, like grow up. But in the fourth one they do, because Jaws the Revenge, this time it's personal, which they literally use as like part of the promotion for that movie. But even the third movie, like that's the promo line from the second movie is iconic, like just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. That's so good. And I pair these, like the first two movies together, as like, I think the second movie is like very, very good. It's very good, because I actually don't think Spielberg returned for the second movie, but like it feels like a continuation on, not like a whole separate thing. Like the third and fourth movie are very much so just like a money grab, like an attachment onto. Yeah.
I actually genuinely thought that the second movie was alright. Of course, it's never going to beat the original. Nothing will ever beat the original, in my opinion.
Very good,
except for maybe Deep Blue Sea. I like Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue. Oh yeah. Also, Deep Blue Sea kind of feels like a spiritual cousin of Jaws.
Yeah.
You know? And I like in Deep Blue Sea. Well, actually, I do want to cover that one day. I think we were saying that the other day. There's maybe like two other shark movies that I think kind of compare. It's like Deep Blue Sea and The Shallows.
The Shallows, yeah,
were very good. You know, they were very scary. But I also like with Deep Blue Sea, they didn't just go for great white sharks. They had like giant makos and fucking, they show like a giant fucking tiger shark and there's a nod to that there's a nod to Jaws in Deep Blue Sea. They find a license plate in a tiger shark's mouth, which is like a nod to this. You know, talking about like tiger sharks will like eat anything. You know? Well,
speaking of eating anything, the way she's found the following morning, like it's literally just her hand is like sticking up out of the sand or something, and all these crabs. Yeah, and she's like super grey. Well, it makes sense. She was swimming around in grey paint. But
she's still got like the ring on and stuff like that. They actually did that. Steven Spielberg was like, throw crabs and seaweed on this, because the prop they had
was
looked
shit.
Awful. Yeah, he was like, no, he was like, you could see it and you could tell that it was plastic. Ooh. Like and the prosthetics in this movie are actually very good. We'll talk about a scene later where that guy gets his leg bitten off. When that sinks down to the floor, that looks real. That looks really, really good. But Steven Spielberg was like, cover this shit with crabs and seaweed. It looks bad. We can't just like powder it down. Just cover most of it. Because even in this, they talk about like, there is some like more body parts of her found. They just don't show them to us. Yeah. Where it's like she's been bitten by the thorax and the whatever. They have like this part of her arm and like a little piece of her torso left, but like that's kind of it, you know. And this damn mayor.
Oh my gosh.
He's the villain. He's actually the villain of this movie.
When I first seen him, especially when they have that reaction, by the way, I love the receptionist that Brody has.
Karateing the picket
there
fences.
Seems to be a pandemic going around. Did you notice that?
Yeah, there's so much shit. Yeah, everybody's like going fucking mental next, like outside this fucking shark incident going on, where it's like there's
priorities,
there's peeping,
ma'am.
Yeah, for real, there's like peeping Tom. He's like, get all this shit off my desk. I only want requests, okay? And then we get that kind of like iconic thing of, which was referenced in Stranger Things, where he makes up his mind straight away. He's like, this was a shark attack. And then basically like the rest of the movie is just him trying to like prove to everybody there was, even though it like very obviously was. And like the thing is, I obviously as a kid you don't pick up on these things, and I hadn't read the book when I was a kid either, but like the mayor, you just look at him like a fool, and you just look at him as like wanting to be like the mayor and like have the town go well. But like as a kid I never thought about like it being about money or anything. And in the book, again, I said spoiler alert at the jump, so like read this like almost 50-year-old book if you want to. So Mayor Larry Vaughn has like mafia ties, kind of like.
Yeah, he's literally in with the sharks.
Literal loan sharks, and like we never get to actually meet them in the book or anything like that. It's kind of always like they're referenced to as his partners in his business or whatever like that, but nobody ever sees it. And Chief Brody is really like kind of suspicious of him in the book, and like I think this movie would have been served even better if they had just that little bit in it, because then it shows that the mayor is like he is a fucking idiot, and like all of it is basically his fault. But like it would have given a little bit more kind of levity as to like why, like he wasn't just acting like a blind fucking idiot, like he was doing it because he was under pressure. But it's like, but like you're feeding people to this shark for money.
Yeah.
You know, and they stress it a lot that it's like there hasn't been a summer this bad since like 1912, and everybody was on welfare for months, and that really doesn't work in a community kind of as small as Amity, you know, where it's like everybody can't be poor, like everybody can't be broke. That's why we need summer dollars, you know.
They make up that excuse that it was a propeller accident. Like she like swam out. I think he says like she must have gotten tired.
Yeah.
And then she got caught up in a propeller. And I was like, but dude,
she's been chewed up.
She's been there are bite marks on the body. He even says
And
there
there's
are
nothing else
teeth lacerations on her not on the thigh, across her lower thorax. I think he said.
Yeah, it's like right
and
up by the arm where she's been severed.
What the fuck, man? And then like it's very clear, and also not to mention like the three lads, including the fucking coroner, who's actually there on, you know, that little thing where he's crossing the I think it's like the strait
the jetty
thing. I couldn't believe it. I was like, even the fucking
they're like
coroner
muscling
is
up
in
to
on
him.
it. Yeah,
yeah,
they're like literally fucking ganging around him and telling him like, here, listen, back off,
make
with
this go away.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I feel so bad for Chief Brody in this, and especially in the book, because like everybody in the town eventually kind of goes on to hate Chief Brody in the book, because they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like they're pissed at him for closing the beaches, and then they're like, why, like, and then they open them back up and they're like, what the fuck? And like Mayor Vaughn is not like taking any of the shit for it, and like again, it's like Chief Brody is like this new guy in the town, and he's like basically trying to like, I don't know, like
gain their
stake his
acceptance
claim
and stuff.
Exactly, and it's very much so like the like higher ups of this town all being like, no, because everybody in this town has like, again, it's such a small community, so everybody has like a motel or a butcher shop or whatever. Everybody depends on
if you're
the
shunned
beach.
in the community, you're kind of fucked, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like they kind of depend on this summer going well to last them into next summer.
Yeah.
You know? And of course this town played by real life Martha's Vineyard. Everything is basically the same. It all just really looks like that.
Yeah.
I always wanted to
Which
go
I
there.
love. It's so quaint, and it's so like that place just looks like I mean,
life.
of course, if you've got the money to go there, like they're happy to take you in. They're like, yes, come over here. Da, da, da,
That's
do
what it
this
is.
with
There's
us.
like even after Chrissy's death, there's they go and they kind of investigate like in the house that they were staying in, and I don't know. I like that. I like they really do kind of like stress the sense of community in the book. Because everybody kind of bands together. It's like all those people that meet up, they're all people that like have, like I said, like businesses and shit like that. In that lady, I don't think that's very funny. I don't think that's very funny at all.
Oh my god,
I love her so much. But she has a motel, and I think Mayor Vaughn is a realtor. Like he sells houses, and like nobody's coming to buy them. But then there's like this weird influx of popularity to Amity because there's a shark there. People are like driving from New York and everywhere to like come and see the shark, and then they can't get the shark to show up, you know. It's just this town is like fucked. But if we want to get into kind of symbolism, this shark is like a symbol of like capitalism and like what it can like do to you,
culture, everything.
Exactly, though, you know.
The town also reflects that as well, very obviously, because like I mean, you remember when they had that town meeting. And he says, town meeting tonight. He says that they'll have to close the beaches for 24 hours.
That's like 3 weeks.
Yeah, someone like screamed that. That's like 3 weeks.
Somebody that we don't see. It's like a dubbing in.
Yeah,
like they just added it in after the fact. I think that whole like kind of community center meeting thing is so funny to me. It's so fucking funny, and like these are things I never would have picked up on as a kid. Like that's why I think like I don't get how people can just watch a movie one time and then like never watch it again. It's like, damn, like you pick up on, and like again, like I've seen this movie a million times, and even last night I don't know why, like again, well I suppose because we're kind of doing it for a podcast, kind of looking at it a little bit more like analytically. I never noticed that in the opening. This is going to sound stupid and probably going to be a little bit like tangential to explain, but I always pictured like the guy being on the beach here and her being just slightly out this way, and like you guys aren't going to be able to see this, but like I noticed that it's like, no, he's like here, and she's actually way further out than I thought.
She's out of one of those
at the boys.
The boys,
Billy.
yeah.
And I remember being like, as a kid, kind of being like, why the fuck can't he hear her? Like, I know he's drunk, but she's like literally over there. It's like, no, she's like
way out.
Like she's really far out. And just like little things like that, but like I never really found the humor in this movie until I got like a little bit older. You know, just the like awkwardness of it. You know, even the like Chief Brody going to like make the beach clothes signs. He like goes to reach for a bunch of paintbrushes, and they all fall. Yeah, everywhere. They all fall over. Yeah. I never found that shit funny as a kid. I always found it really awkward. But like, I think this movie is really funny.
There's also a guy with he's a bike shop owner, and he's like, "Do you see these spokes? You see, I got this back from a rented bike. Did you see these spokes? He didn't even give me my." I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Oh my god, he's a fucking sheriff, and this is what you could." But I suppose those are the problems, like, because didn't he say like they haven't had like robberies or shooting in like over 20 years or something?
Yeah, like that's why they moved from New York to Amity, because it was easy. There was like never anything. Yeah. But then suddenly this summer, everybody has a fucking problem. Everything is wrong. Like there's a bunch of times in this movie where people come up to him like, "Chief," and he just kind of like, yeah. Like he's already in the middle of something, you know? Fucking poor Martin Brody.
I do think that Brody does also, like you did mention it earlier, like he sort of takes the brunt of the blame for what happened, even though I don't necessarily think he deserves the blame, because
it's not his fault at all.
Like especially when that was it Billy?
Who?
The kid that
Alex Kintner.
Yeah. Wow, that's way off.
Billy.
I just automatically think of Billy.
It's such a little kid.
When he dies and she shows up after that first tiger shark is caught, and she smacks the shit out.
She really did.
Like, I want you to.
And my boy is dead, and I just wanted you to know about it.
Blah, blah, blah. And I was like. And even fucking what's his name? The mayor is standing right there next to him, and
in his
like,
little blue suit with the little white anchors all over it. Oh.
And it made me so. It didn't anger me because yes, it is sort of Brody's fault, but it's not altogether his fault, because he did say no. We have to close the beaches. There's literally a woman that died from a shark.
That's his initial jump.
Yeah.
And that scene is so sad that where she's like, I just found out a girl died here last week, and you knew about it.
Yeah.
And my boy is dead now.
Yeah. It's very heartening.
And then she slaps the fuck out of him. It's so good. So
it's a heavy slap. It's not one of those. It's
one
one of
like
those,
it's not like a. She hits him with like the whole hand.
Yeah, the whole hand.
Like you ever get like smacked in the ear?
Yeah.
And your ear goes real hot and all.
Ringing.
Yeah. So kind of moving on to
turning yourself on there,
I love it.
Are you not
embarrassed? Myself in my face. But we also get a dog death, which I never even realized as a kid, where he's like, Pippin, he's like throwing the stick out, and like, I don't know why, like the pieces never connected in my head that we see dog with stick, and then we see no dog, just stick. I don't know why that never registered in my head as a kid, as that dog just got snatched up.
We get also that there is a bigger woman that is like floating. It's like we get several shots of her floating in the water,
sitting there,
and she's like. I can see it as what Spielberg is probably trying to do is use that as a misdirect to say like the shark is probably going to go for her, before you then realize that obviously the kid. And while I was watching that scene, like the actual like eating scene,
of Alex,
it was just so, and like because like his mother like goes out, like, it's like she's just
Alex?
looking around.
Yeah, it's like she's the last one to realize. And she gets up, and everybody gets their kid in, and she's kind of just Alex, like looking around, and then we see that like shot of like his raft. Yeah. But like this scene, it didn't like fuck me up as a kid, but it's like I could never wrap my head around kind of what I was looking at, because it's like Alex goes out, she's like, no, don't go out, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go out anyway, and she's like, yeah, okay, just go like where I can see or whatever.
Yeah. But
like we kind of, this is where we get like put into like POV,
the point of view,
where we see like underneath and all the kind of stuff, and then like Alex just gets like snatched up, but it's like there's just this like fountain of blood coming from underneath, but then there's this weird shot where we see these fins kind of just rolling over each other, and his arms and the raft, and I remember kind of looking at that like, what fin is that, like what am I looking at, like is he just getting like thrashed around or just getting rotated, whatever it is. And then we hear Alex, and again, this is something I didn't even realize when I was a kid, is like we hear Alex like screaming, like, but he's like, it hurts. Like I never was able to like make that out as a kid, and he just gets snatched underwater and he's gone.
Yeah.
But the concepts for this, like I was saying earlier, are so crazy. They're so creepy because we can see like the scale of the shark next to this little boy.
Yeah.
And then thinking about the end where I'm like Quint fits entirely in this shark's mouth, and I'm like, this was a little kid. Like that whole kid would have just been able to fit in there.
Yeah.
No chewing, no nothing.
Yeah, just gone straight into the stomach. Yeah.
He's gone, and it's just it's so good. And this is another one of those moments. Like as a kid, I was just so like, oh shit. Like I don't actually even remember the first time seeing this. Like this was just one of those movies I always remember having seen. But like, seeing that as a kid, being like, oh my god, they just killed a kid. They just killed a kid in like kind of the most violent way that we've seen so far. I think like kind of besides Quint, like Alex gets the most violent death, and yeah, I was just very sad, and I don't know why like it made me sad like that. Like Alex Kintner's mother was kind of like is slightly older than kind of the rest of the parents, and like even thinking about it, it's like you think about all these things where I'm like, damn, she's alone.
Yes.
Because in the book, she doesn't have a husband. Like, I think he's dead or, like, they're divorced or something like that. But she's, like, alone. And I remember being like, fuck. That's so sad. Like, that's so upsetting. And, like, that lady, she really gives a good performance when she goes up and slaps the fuck out of Martin. Out of Chief Brody. It's so good. And she really slapped him. Yeah? She really slapped the fuck out of him on set. I think you kind of need to. I feel like...
Spielberg was like...
Are you watching the fucking movie? You're watching the fucking scene.
I was like, I like doing it because like it reminds me of like the like certain shots, and I also
like watching the movie because it reminds me of the movie.
No, there's that certain shot I always remember because you said you always remember thinking about that one shot where it's like a Hitchcock moment. Yeah. It's when Brody's sitting in the chair and he realizes what's happening. Yes.
With the score. I can't say enough about this score.
John Williams kills it.
No, genuinely, I think like this movie is like a third of its success is because of the soundtrack. Yeah. You know, like it instantly made it iconic. Yeah. You know, and like this is kind of one of those movies that like a Scream or a Psycho or something where it was like people really started to kind of like be like, oh shit, maybe we should do something different with what we've been doing. Because then you get movies like Piranha and Orca. And Orca actually, did you ever see Orca?
No.
Bro, okay, Orca is actually good. Ish. But like just quick side note, there's a scene where, and there's actual like big motivation, and I'll get to like something in a minute. I don't believe that the shark is actually in the wrong in this movie at all. It's just a shark. But the orca in this movie, there's like a family of them, and they like mate for life. Listen. I remember I watched this movie with my mom when I was a kid, and I remember being like fucked up from it because they capture this female orca in front of the male one, and she's pregnant. Oh my god, just wait. And then she has a miscarriage in front of everybody, and this like baby orca whale just comes out of her, and her and the male one are like, ah, like they're like screaming. And I remember as a kid being like I just didn't know what the fuck had happened. Suddenly there was just this, and they show it. They just have this like baby orca wrapped in like bubble gum that they just like throw on the deck, and then it like kills the fuck out of all of these people. The male one is pissed. And it like there's a house like built onto the edge of a cliff, and it like breaks it and like crushes this whole house into the thing, and then it becomes literally like
shit.
Oh Nathan, it's great. We should have it on like on a future episode because it's so wacky. And then there's like a showdown, but like with an orca instead of a shark. Yeah. And it like fucks people up. I think it actually bites a lady's leg off in the movie. It's fucking great. We should watch Orca, but it's like it's just one of the like very obvious Jaws ripoffs at the time. And even Peter Benchley wrote another shark book that was just a Jaws ripoff that like nobody can name. It's called like From the Deep or like From the Depths or some shit like that.
Yeah, Deep Blue Sea, right? That's literally the only other shark movie I know besides Jaws 2.
And 3 and 4.
Yeah, but I've never watched those films because they're fucking shit.
You can't say that.
They're shit.
You haven't seen
them. They're literal garbage.
No, they're fun.
It's a psychic connection between a woman and a fucking shark.
It's not psychic.
Girl, please, you can't justify that to me.
It's not psychic. She's just having dreams of the shark. They don't like converse or anything. Alan, it's that scene from Jurassic Park 3. Alan. No, they're decent. They're not decent at all, but like they're nostalgic because I watched them as a kid.
You just can't. You can't justify it. I'm sorry, you can't.
Whatever. But all the sharks in these movies are related, like directly.
That's true. Yeah.
Like there's like a grandmother and a this and a that, and there's one shark. They made a Jaws game, like Jaws Unleashed, for the PlayStation 2. So yeah, and that's the only shark that isn't like related to all of them.
Don't they like when sharks are born?
They do, yes. Classic shark.
Oh god.
No, sorry, what were we gonna say?
A good classic shark. That's just so good to know.
No, what were you gonna say?
When sharks are born, they have is it a brood of sharks or something? Yeah. But like the one shark survives.
Yeah.
They like the shark
can eat each other like on the inside.
Yeah. Oh god. So they're like, imagine
that.
if that was like one of the sharks.
I ate my twin in the womb.
I ate my twin in the womb. I love that.
And also, like, just want to say, like, this movie, like, kind of, I feel like as a classic as it is, it really like made people just hate sharks.
Yes, it did. It sort of demon.
Well, no, literally,
they are predators, but like.
But no more than bears or foxes or wolves.
Well, because like when it comes to like sharks, what is it like? Less than what 4 or 5 people.
They like never ever really kill us at all.
No, they never
it's
ever go
always
for
by
us.
accident.
It's merely fish. It's mainly fish, or license plates.
Yeah, but it's like even like most people don't get eaten by sharks. They just get attacked. Like it's rare that somebody will get like
fully eaten.
Yeah, like the shark will kind of come up and like I say this like I know sharks like that, but like no, again it's like this movie kind of sparked off like
you have a
huge...
token shark friend.
Yeah, I sure do. Yeah, I had to have like a fucking saltwater tank installed in my house, you know, just so you could piss or whatever. But no, this movie kind of like a Jurassic Park.
But you liked it though, didn't you?
Oh, I loved it. That's my king. If there's any sharks listening, I want you to send me a jar of hot shark piss, baby. But no, I'm not ashamed at all. I'm embarrassed that I'm not covered in shark piss right now.
Golden showers.
I don't think they piss. I think they have cloaca, like a bird.
What is cloaca?
It's like if your butthole and your like pee hole were like the same thing. It's called venting.
We're literally talking about how sharks take a poo now. I think we've gone on a far enough tangent.
Well, it's not a poop, it's both at the same time. Cloaca. Bats have it too.
I was just about to say, do you remember Ace Ventura?
That's guano.
Guano.
Did that not look good as a kid though?
Yeah, it did.
I would totally eat that shit. Listen to our Ace Ventura Pet Detective podcast first every month. But no, this movie kind of like sparked off a whole kind of like interest for me in like sharks and stuff, right? And like they even bring it up in this movie that like people kind of like up until then at least like kind of didn't really know much about sharks, and like sharks are this like
we got that whole dinner exposition dump.
Yeah, I loved that.
And it's not even just like to further along a plot or anything like that. It's literally the both of them are just talking about shark facts.
Yeah.
It's literally just a scene of 2 shark nerds talking.
Yeah, there's like that thing of like when Brody came in. Yeah, for real. No, but for real, it's like this whole thing kind of like sparked off. I actually don't remember what my original point was. We've been talking about other stuff.
Tangent St. James, Lalaurie, Delacroix, Versace, La Beja.
You comfortable?
Is the carpet comfortable? So there's a cat walking around being an asshole.
But you know, I feel like this movie kind of like, I don't feel like unfairly depicts sharks, because it's like, it's accurate to shark, but I think that they're making, well, not accurate to sharks, but it's like sharks do eat things.
Yeah.
But I think they make it kind of like a, this shark wants to hurt us. Like, this shark wants to, like, fuck us over and ruin our summer or whatever, you know?
But at several instances, characters do turn around practically to the audience and say, like, this one is out for blood.
Yeah.
This one has a taste for humans now, and it even says, like, it's waiting in the waters.
Which, yeah, I guess it's kind of true. They have the whole thing of, like, it's territoriality or whatever.
That's it, yeah,
and that he's, like, he's a rogue or whatever, but, like, most sharks are like that. Most sharks don't, like, hang together. I guess. But then it's like, it would make sense that if he came here, shark is actually a girl.
Is it a female?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
It actually makes it, well, they call it Bruce. That's the name of the...
Bruce.
Well, that's the name of, like...
Bruce.
That's the name of, like, the prop shark. Like, of, like, the actual shark that they had on set or whatever like that. But it's, like, whatever, it's a chick.
How do you know it's a chick?
I read the book, Nathan.
How do they find out? Did they just check? Did they check the plumbing?
Yeah, I guess so. They lifted up its skirt, Nathan.
The shark is non-binary.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the next thing I really wanted
My
to talk about...
pronouns are they and Jaws, yeah. Okay.
Korean Jimin.
Also, fully, I used to just refer to this shark as Jaws. Like, Jaws was its name.
Yeah. Yeah, this is very accurate. This is very true.
Look, it's Jaws. Hi, it's me, Jaws.
Hi, it's me, Jaws, and this is my hunting ground. Like, share, and subscribe. Selfie time. This town meeting scene where Brody meets up with practically the whole town is making fun of him for suggesting...
Yeah, what a loser! You're just like your father. It's very
fucking pussy, wet ass pussy.
That's literally what it is. It's
loser.
like, you fucking New Yorker piece of shit.
You don't know what you're fucking talking. Yeah, all of that kind of stuff. It's just really irritating. And then you're one with all the opinions on the planet. I don't have time to talk to you. I don't have time.
What about the motel? Now, what is it? Mayor, are you going to close the beaches?
No, I don't find that funny
I don't find that funny at all.
At all.
Also, Brody says that exact line like 2 scenes later where... It's so good. That scene on the dock is so chaotic.
Oh my god. Yeah. So, like, we get introduced to the shark hunter.
Yeah.
And...
Oh, Daddy!
I'll find him for 5, but I'll catch him and kill him for 10.
For 10.
I love that. It's so...
We're not just going down to the blonde to catch bluegills or Tommy cops.
And, like, right away, he seems to know that it's, like, it's a great wife.
It's me versus the shark.
You know, it's very much, David versus Goliath type deal.
Ahab versus the whale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's very that. And, like, also to mention, the way he introduces himself. Screech!
Oh, I love it. I'm one of those rare freaks that likes the sound of nails on chalkboard.
Ew.
Or loves the feeling of running my nails over a chalkboard.
Ew.
Or, like, drywall. Oh!
Gross.
I love it.
But it's very much that scene from American Werewolf in London. Like,
you have nothing. Stick to the moors.
Like, everyone stops. Someone's about to throw a dart, but stops. The record player is scratched.
Yeah. Even that chick, I forgot what her fucking name is, because she's in the second and the fourth one as well. She, like, turns around and she's really like, like, it, like, shows everybody, like wincing at this. And him and his little crewmate have their little...
Who we never see again.
No, never.
And the dog.
And the dog. Who I
That's
thought
where the dog went to.
Yeah, that's Pippin. I thought he was one of those dudes that goes out and tries to catch the shark with the roast, but he isn't. Just right. Everybody on this island
with the
is a
chum
fisherman.
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Where he's like, they go out into, like, the dock and they, like, stick the hook in the, like, giant fucking piece of meat. I would just cut that in half.
Oh my god!
What, you think I'm gonna throw an entire fucking, like, chunk of fucking beef out on this fucking thing? They didn't even catch the shark.
They did. Well, they caught a shark.
They caught it, but that wasn't the shark.
Okay.
No, not that shark.
Support your own conclusions. We don't even know that.
Semantics are facts.
Semantics are facts interpreted to support conclusions.
I didn't hear you, like, debate on whether or not they were facts.
So anyway, he draws a goddamn shark. Like, talk about, I said this to you earlier, but talk about being sensitive to a fucking situation.
Yeah.
He literally draws
Mrs. Kinder's like right there.
Monstrous fucking shark jaws.
This is a shark. This right here, this is your boy.
He literally gets that whole Venn diagram and turns that Venn diagram
That's
into
literally
teeth.
what it is. It's like he brought that blackboard with him and everything.
To prove a point.
I love Quentin. It's like Robert Shaw in this movie is so good. And like for the second half of this movie, he's kind of the main character.
Yeah, he does sort of like how do I
That's my flash! Don't cut that out.
It's a cat being an asshole. Quite an asshole, really. Yeah.
You're just making beans on my leg.
You're gonna get ringworm now.
You can't get ringworm twice, Nathan.
You can.
Okay, what I'm gonna do right here is unhook your claws, your talons. No, you can stay there. Oh.
You're not talons. So like because that mother has like set up, what is it, 10,000?
Yeah, 10. Or no, 3,000 bounty.
3,000.
He wants 10.
And
I'll
he
catch him
wants-
and kill him for 10.
For 10. Because I'm a manly man.
Oh, I love that. He's not very
Even
hairy,
with those
though.
teeth. He's eating a fucking rice cake. He's like loudly
like
eating a rice cake.
It's like a tiny little saltine or whatever like that, and like in every scene he like just takes off like a tiny little corner of it. And then yeah, it's great. He like takes out the like one tooth at the end and all. So
yeah.
good.
But they catch that shark because the oceanographer or whatever,
Matt Hooper. Who, okay, I don't know if you're going to take offense to this or not. You give me such big Matt Hooper vibes.
me,
Sometimes. Yeah.
I'm kind of glad because I like this guy.
I like him as well. He used to know
He's
the shit out of me as a
intelligent.
kid.
He's
Spunky.
He's spunky. He's got spunk. I like
Played
that.
by Richard Dreyfuss. I also don't know if
awesome.
we would said that at the start. It's like
Yeah.
he's played by Richard Dreyfuss. Chief Brody's played by Roy Scheider, and Robert Shaw plays Quint, and Lorraine Gary plays Brody's wife.
She's kind of.
Or no, Lorraine. You think she's hot in this?
Kind of.
She always gave me like somebody's mom. I suppose like I'm literally out here being like, do you have a dad? That's hot. But she always gives me like big like mom energies. She is nice though.
When it comes to like them catching this shark, they're so like fully secure and ready to believe that this shark is the one.
Going out with the dynamite and all on the boat.
Yeah.
Did you see them two dogs? There's
Yeah.
a boat with like a Labrador in the front and in the back. I was like, those are shark hunting doggos.
Oh.
They're helping.
He's shark hunting doggos are helping all the time. Yeah. But I felt so bad because it's not. I know it's not the shark, but it is a shark. It's still another big thing. And I was like, every time, I said this to you earlier, but every single time there's a close-up shot of its mouth, which, by the way, all of its teeth are missing.
Yeah.
Meaning that
They're gonna sell them.
yeah, they're gonna fucking sell the shark teeth, and it was just really so upsetting. So upsetting. And yeah, I just thought it was really upsetting.
I always thought it was nice. No, before I was trying to convince. Like I only watched this movie like. No, I'm joking. I only watched this movie like 2 or 3 months ago, and me and my granddad were like, "No, that is totally a real shark." And she's like my nanny was like, "No, there's no way." And I was like, "No, but like, look at it. Like, it literally is a real shark." Also, like, what makes you think that people off of a fishing village aren't just going to be able to catch a shark? And like, to me, like, I almost guarantee that they didn't go out and catch a tiger shark specifically for this movie, because I don't think you can like do that legally.
No, you can't. I'd say that was someone caught that.
Yeah, but I don't think it was Steven Spielberg being like, "Catch me a tiger shark."
Mm-hmm.
I think somebody like had a tiger shark and they were like,
Yeah.
"Fuck yeah, like use it," because they don't even really use that in the book. But like, here's also one of my favorite lines where Matt Hooper is like kind of going around and he's like doing his whole little like shark nerd thing, and then he's like telling them that this is not the same bite radius or whatever like that. And he's like, "It's a tiger shark," and we get this dude that turns around and he goes, "A what?" It's so good.
The overacting.
A what? Yeah, no, I love it. I love it so much.
Where's the stripes?
Yeah,
I
for
don't
real.
see the stripes.
I loved
Okay.
it though. The way they had it was so cool because the hook is up like through the nose. And
Yeah,
everything. It
it's
looks
like
so cool.
it's like a J.
Yeah,
the
like
shape
a
of
little
a
like
J.
metal like shark, like a little like punky shark.
Aw.
And then they're like
A
trying.
punky shark.
They're trying to like they're gonna like prove, and then Mayor Vaughn is like I don't want you to cut this shark open and see that little Kittner boy spill out all over the dock.
Oh, it's rather like, yeah,
They
because
do.
like to be censored, and I know they do. Yeah, they cut it out like much later on, but like, yeah, it's just it's sad, like because like that one didn't deserve to, you know.
It's a fucking movie, Nathan. It's literally a movie. Do you think Alex Kittner deserved to get eaten up?
Yes.
Well, there you
He
go.
deserved, and you know why? Cause
There you go.
yeah.
I don't know. It's a movie. I mean, you didn't feel bad for that fucking tuna that they threw out. That first they throw a tuna's head out, and then they throw a whole tuna out.
From like a bag.
Yeah, that's very obviously not that same shark. They
Yeah.
like put it open, and you can hear it like eek, eek. You
Yeah,
can hear
yeah.
like the rubberized like squeaks from it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like all this like
Like
it's not
white
milk,
foam
but it's
kinda
like
thing?
yeah, it's like just
Yeah.
this like white liquid that spills out, and then they don't find anything in there. They just find a license plate.
From Louisiana, so it traveled upstream against
Southern
the currents.
waters. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, somebody probably threw that in a river or whatever.
Wow. Talk about being Greenpeace or whatever.
But like this scene right before this pisses me off because Brody is obviously like feeling like shit because it's like we didn't catch it, we didn't like whatever, you know, like and
It's still
everybody's
out there.
exactly everybody's kind of blaming him and the mayor's kind of like being a prick about it because that's literally his like whole.
MO.
Oh yeah, exactly. And Hooper comes over and Brody's sitting there. They have that cute moment with Sean, the youngest boy, where he's like doing the faces and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
I love
that's
that.
really
I find that
adorable.
very endearing. I
And he's
really
like, give me
that.
a kiss. And the kid's like,
'Cause,
why?
like-
And he's like, because I need it.
Yeah.
Aw.
I was like, oh, it's so cute.
And
And
then-
that's like something you need that, you know, because
Yeah.
like when you get to like the whole climax of like them versus the shark, literally because he's eating fucking half the boat.
Yeah.
Like you need scenes like that to create levity with the characters, so you can not
Yeah, like, they
identify
really-
with them more, but like
Well,
just
they do.
care
They
about
really
them more.
endear you to Chief Brody in this
Yeah,
movie, and like I think it's very easy to like empathize with him, and to
Mhm.
like I don't ever like even as a kid I never was like, oh, it's totally his fault, because it's like they always show him like trying to do the right thing, and it's like
Mhm.
literally like his hands are tied, you know, well not literally, but like, you know, there's not much he can like really do about it, because it's like he's chief of police, but if your entire town disagrees with you, you're like they can just run amok and do whatever they want, you know.
Yeah.
But Matt comes over and Matt from the
Matt.
Oceanographic Institute, you know him.
The oceanographer.
Love him. Oh, but yeah, also in the book he's fucking Ellen.
Really?
Oh my god, here's like a whole other side plot. So because Ellen used to be like an islander, she's like was from there and then moved out to New York and then moved back.
Yeah.
Alex and stuff. She used to date Hooper's older brother, and then he comes into town and she's like, and they have this whole affair.
Wow.
And they're like, what does he talk about? He talks about like fingering her in the car. They went back to like the motel and all this kind of stuff. So there's all that like this extra added tension between Brody and
Oh.
Hooper, because Brody kind of suspects that he's porking her. Because then even the first night he comes over, he gives Ellen like a shark tooth necklace, like dipped in silver, all this kind of shit like that, the same as he has. So it's like real kind of obvious. And Hooper is supposed to be like kind of significantly younger than Brody. He's like a young guy, like even way younger than Ellen or anything like this. And yeah, there's like a whole like kind of extra tension going on there that they just completely cut out, which like I get for this movie, like cutting it out. I think like simplifying the story down for a movie like really makes a lot of sense. But like watching this movie again after having read the book, it's like, oh shit. And he's supposed to be like super attractive in the book, like really like kind of like studly and like gorgeous or whatever, and Brody's
Yeah.
supposed to be kind of like fat and like misshapen and all this kind of stuff. Misshapen, but such a horrible word. But he's supposed to be
You're
kind
not.
of like,
It's not that you're ugly.
You're
You're
just
just
misshapen.
misshapen.
yeah. But like, yeah, Brody's supposed to be kind of like a little bit older and kind of broke and kind of like common, I guess, because like Ellen was like supposed to be like posh and like upper class and all this kind of stuff. So there's like a lot of that like in the book that like adds to it. But anyway, Matt comes over and sits down. He brings red and white or whatever. But then he goes, "Is anybody going to eat this?" And it just takes the food. Just takes the fucking food. She says no after he's pulled it over to him. What a dick. And then they have their little like shark fact moment.
They have this kind of they just completely nerd out with facts because he's like there's like shots of him like throughout parts of this movie where he's just been like reading through well, not necessarily reading, he's just looking at the pictures.
Yeah, he's literally looking at pictures of people who have their like waist bitten off or something like that. And that scene where she comes up and she's like, "You want to get drunk and fool around?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." And they had just bought Michael a boat, and he goes out, and he's like, "Get him out of the boat," and she's like, "He's not going to go in the water." And then she looks down at the book, and it's a picture of like, cause he's sitting in his boat. Yeah. It's a picture of a shark just attacking a boat, and mid sentence while Brody's talking, she's like, "Michael, you heard your father. Out of the water now, now!" And then just calls him in. I love it. I love it so much.
I just think like so the comedic the use of comedic effect in here is done very well, and it serves the plot very well.
You kind of need it, because I can picture this just being a very, very, like, heavy movie.
Yeah.
And, like, the book is also kind of funny as well. Like, I don't want to just, like, the book is everything this movie is and more. They don't add anything into this movie that wasn't in the book. They only kind of take away.
Yeah.
The book is actually very, very short. You could, like, I read it in, like a week and a half of just very, like, couple of pages here or there. Like, it's not even that big of a book. So, like, highly recommend if you want, like, extra. But there's also a lot more deaths in the book. There's, like, an old man and somebody else that died like kind of in the same day. Like I think there's like 7 or 8 kills in the book, whereas there's only Chrissy, Alex, and Quint in this movie. Yeah, no, and the guy. The guy on the boat.
Yes, yes. Which is,
you guys okay over there? The way he just
oh my god, that scene. I also love it. It's like, yeah, but you're kind of drunk. It's like, yeah, I'm the sheriff though.
I'm good.
And then they end up going out, and then he just dives down into it, and then he finds that head. And
Ben Gardner.
Yes,
Ben Gardner also dies. That's such a good scare.
It was terrifying. I literally remember first time seeing that was like jumping out of his seat, like, oh my fucking god.
Yeah, no, it was one of those like pinned to the couch kind of moments. Yeah. But it always confused me, even as a kid, where I was like, why is he missing an eye?
Little fishy's got to eat too.
Yeah, I suppose. But like Ben Gardner in the book and everything, there's so much more of like an investigation into that. They go out and Ben Gardner's boat is just there, and he's just gone. Like, there's no body, no nothing. And there's this whole thing of like, how are we going to tell his wife? And his wife is going to be broke, and she's going to be alone, and they have kids, and they get one of the girls, like one of the secretaries from the office to go over and like give her a Valium and like give her like drink and all that kind of stuff and spend the night with her and all this kind of shit. It's great.
It's sort of one of those things where like you either presume it was the shark or it was the sharks. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
it was very.
Or the fact that all of these fucking fishermen are just throwing dynamite into the fucking water. They're all clambering over each other. Like again, that's kind of like another little part of comedy where it's like, again, I never noticed it as a kid. To me, looking at just a bunch of guys going out on a boat, but then it's all these dudes having this like fisherman banter, and they're all like, literally just tossing dynamite out of their boats, all next to each other and shit. You know, just like randomly chucking chum. Also, if you want to know about chum and like ocean drift, read the book.
Yeah, the amount of fucking blood and like meat and guts that they fuck into that water. Like, if anything, they're just making it worse.
Well,
like, to be very fair, if anything, they're just making it worse. Because they never catch anything apart from the
tiger shark. Yeah. So yeah, we have that like little scene with like where they find Ben Gardner's boat and stuff like that. But for some reason, the color of the water underneath Hooper's boat, the fact that it was like yellowy green or some shit, always like freaked me out when I was a kid. And then just like the idea that he would like,
it's seawater.
No, I know, but like the lights are like, because he has lights underneath, but they're like big yellow lights. So like from the surface, it makes it look really like swampy and like murky. And then when he's underneath, it's all like blue, obviously, because they're in a tank.
It's seawater.
In one.
What part of that do you not understand?
But I don't get what your point is.
It's seawater.
Yeah, okay.
Of course, it's going to be green and murky.
But in every other scene, it's blue and not murky.
So.
And it's also at night. We don't ever get like an actual true night scene in this movie besides this. It always creeped me out.
Well, we do. We just got grey water in that one.
Actually, the morning.
Okay,
But anyway,
whatever.
they're like drunk and shit like that, and this is where we kind of find out that like Hooper is like wealthy and all that kind of stuff, which again is kind of a hint in the book that he's like actually very wealthy, which again is another like weird like power balance between Brody and
cockfighting.
Hooper. Yeah, and then even the same with Quint, where he's like, "Oh, I need this working class hero crap or whatever like that," because basically they're like, "You smell like money, boy." Like they're just like taking the piss at him because he's rich or whatever like that, and he ends up like does like knowing what to do or whatever like that. But yeah, he finds a tooth, but he didn't get to save it. So when they go to Mayor
like
Vaughn the next morning,
into the...
it's like right that he could have picked that out because
Yeah.
he gets the knife and like jams it, and it's already like wobbling like wildly. And they try and get like the mayor to like shut everything down. He's like, "No, we fucking can't, bro. It's July the 3rd. Like tomorrow's the 4th of July, our busiest day." And yet, like, I think Brody's talking about, like, "Oh, well, if we work now, we can, like, save August or September or whatever it is like that." And he's like, "What the fuck, bro? Like, we're going to be fucking broke." But, excuse me. Totally burped there. All of this shit, like, all of this pressure that's being put on the town is all because of Mayor Vaughn in the book. The fact that, like, he needs money because he's spent, like, all of this town kind of coin on, like, a whatever.
Yeah,
you know? And now he's got, like
barbecue kind of joyous occasion on the beach day.
Exactly, like making the bandstand and all this kind of shit. And then like I love that like the next day, like when everybody kind of is arriving after like finding out about Alex Kittner and all that kind of stuff, because in the book they actually try and make Chrissy Watkins like disappear. They don't talk about it at all. It doesn't get put in the newspapers or anything until people like actually like find out about it, you know what I mean, like like around the town and stuff. So Alex Kittner is kind of the breaking thing because everybody saw it happen. It happened like during the day right in front of a whole beach full of people. Yeah, so that kind of like is the thing that like kind of puts everybody on alert. But again, like we're looking at it in the non-Islander kind of sense. Like we're looking at it through Chief Brody's sense of the like there's a danger, let's be logical, let's get rid of it or close the beaches. Like there's two options, but everybody's kind of like everybody else is kind of like well, no, we need to like have this going. But also in my head, the logic for me is like, you live by a beach, you have to kind of expect things like this to happen. Like if you live by the ocean, no, but you have to expect there for it to be some kind of something. Like these people are acting so shocked at the fact that there's a shark in the water, you know. Like I get that sucks or whatever like that, but it's like this can't be the first time something like this has happened.
Well, I wouldn't presume that a great fucking white has like.
But not a great white, but they had a tiger shark. They just had. Okay, the Thames is literally in the middle of London. This is like literally like where like I don't know. I guess where shit could like possibly be, but like even besides this, there was still a tiger shark in those waters. There was still a shark in that water. You know what I mean? So like, this can't be the first time anything like this has ever happened. They even mentioned the. And this is actually a real case. In 1916 in New Jersey, a shark just like ate like 6 people over the span of like a week or something like that, which kind of directly inspired Jaws. But these people are still like, what the fuck? Man, fuck this shark. But also this shark is just eating.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also genuinely terrifying. I mean, something like this doesn't always happen. So like, yeah, of course it's going to be shocking.
No, it's shocking, but it's like these people are acting like the embodiment of evil has come to our town, you know. But it's like, but you live like if you live near the forest, you have to expect some kind of forest animal. Like if you live by bears, you have to expect bears. If you live by the ocean, you have to expect barracuda or whatever it is. They talk about that like in this movie a couple of times, you know, where it's like there has to be like a certain amount of risk that you know that there is about going into the ocean, you know. Like I said at the start of this, like this movie made people afraid to go in the water, but it's like that's not necessarily true. You know, like people are always afraid of the water. The water is scary. It's unknown. It's the deep. You know, the deep. The deep. The deep. I didn't come here to fuck sharks, but that was the worst one I've ever done. But yeah. I also I used to like scream crying when they like fuck the shark up in this movie, in the second movie, because I felt bad because I'm like, it's just a shark, like it's not evil.
It's just a movie.
But so what? I was a
never
child.
happened.
Yeah, but I was a child.
When I was a child.
Do you remember being a child?
I lived as a child.
I was a falsetto child.
When I was an adult.
No, but for, like, as a kid, I remember kind of being like, yeah, like, that's fucked up. Like, I can understand why people are, like, upset, but I'm also like, it's just eating. Like again, realizing that it's, like, people...
You having more sympathy for the shark is not the point here.
But it is. It's like, you wouldn't, like... They wouldn't do that, like, well, I suppose they would. You Americans are freaks. Well, for real, it's like one person gets attacked by one kind of animal, they fucking kill it out of existence, you know? It's like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And again, that kind of, it adds the level of real world kind of effect of thinking that sharks are just like stupid, dumb animals that are just going to eat
No, they're
everything.
Trained hunters.
Shark school.
Well, yeah. Did you ever see that kind of shit? That was just fucking great.
No, for real though, I love the idea that like they do kind of push that it's like sharks just have never had to change. Mm-hmm. All they did was get smaller. Just slightly.
Just slightly, yeah.
And that's it. Sharks 65 million years ago are basically the same as they are now. You know, they are smart. They're like tactical. They're not just... They make it sound like this thing is just
Why don't you just go out to the sea and go fuck a shark, okay?
I would
Jesus,
fuck
I can
a shark.
sense your boner from here, okay?
Why are you looking at my huge... No, but seriously though, bitch.
Yeah, I can smell that shark boner from here. You're down to clown with a shark.
With a shark.
With a rubber.
No, not with a rubber.
Oh,
Bareback. It's in the back.
Yeah.
And sharks have vaginas. No, they don't. They have cloaca. Wait, let me check that up.
Oh my god.
Go on,
We're talking about shark shit for the second time.
Okay, Google. What's my name?
Your name is Daddy.
Great. Do sharks have cloaca?
According to Britannica, cloaca, invertebrates, common chamber and outlet into which the intestinal, urinary, and genital tracts open. It is present in amphibians, reptiles, birds, elasmobranch fishes, such as sharks and monotremes.
Wow.
I'm trying to get 6 feet deep in that shark pussy, okay?
Especially great whites.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Why gotta be white?
Because they is white.
It's just a preference.
It is not racist. That's going up on
I'm literally picking another race. Fuck humans. Shark pussy's where it's at.
Okay, alright, so...
Gay for men, straight for sharks.
Wow. What do? Just stick a bag over its head and swing off the handle?
That's the bisexual relationship.
Yeah.
People always kind of like praise like Evie and fucking what's his name and Rick from The Mummy as like the ultimate like bisexual like coupling or whatever like that. It's like, no, I want to be fucking like paired with Quint and a shark. That's my trio I want to be in. The man makes alcohol, has his own job, has his own business. Sustainable.
Self-sufficient.
He also saves a baby dolphin, a dead baby dolphin in a big like tub as like the last final piece of bait in the book. Because they're throwing off like smaller like fish or whatever like that, and he's like, no, we're gonna need something like big enough to make him be like, ooh shit, let me like go over there and like get that. And they have like a baby shark in like formaldehyde or some shit like that. They like hook it and throw it out. It's great.
Gross. Ew.
Gross. It's only a book.
Jesus. Gross. So when it comes to like this whole July 4th kind of day thing, and then obviously your man getting eaten, like you said it earlier, the way that leg just kind of
it looks like real meat. Like it looks like
jiggles.
flesh.
It literally jiggles in the water as it like smacks. Like the right heel just hits and down.
And I actually will say, like, I know you kind of are like very like on the effects, but like I think when the boat kind of rolls over and
all the money went into that foot.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, but it's like even the way, like even as a kid, I remember being like that was real. There's no way. Like there's no way because they had like leg hair and like the like Achilles tendon was like flexed and everything, and like the shredded like meat part of it. It's just great.
Yeah.
But right after that, like immediately after that, when the boat is flipped and he is like kind of trying to climb up back on the boat, where they have the shark like just underneath the surface.
Yeah.
That's so good. It looks really excellent. It looks real.
I love the eyes. The eyes are just like
with the roll up white, and again we get that at the end like a little bit. But damn. And then Michael is just like traumatized. Michael is just like,
oh yeah, he's like practically catatonic at this point.
Yeah, he goes into shock.
He's like full on, like he has to be like because like he is like dragged out of like the thing, and he's literally just like fucked onto the shot and brought into the hospital.
Poor little Sean is like crying, whatever. Sean does like the cutest thing ever, that where like right as they're going, because like this whole thing kind of comes right after like a prank. There's these two kids that have like fake fins on their back or whatever like that to like prank everybody. And everybody's like, yeah, whatever. Everybody like, however, which or whatever. Everybody just like chills out and is like, fuck it, there actually is no shark. So people are starting to like go back in the water and all this kind of shit. And then they go into like the estuary, the little pond or whatever. And like to me as Chief Brody, I'm like, why are you sending your son like out of sight? Would it not be safer to have him right there where
in front of you? Yeah,
the attack doesn't happen. And even that scene, it's kind of it's not funny, but it is funny. It's the guy like just screaming like kind of maniacally, and then it pans over onto the shore of these three girls just like popping up being like, what's going on? It's this dude just getting shredded apart in the like water over there.
Yeah,
right.
It's really kind of, again, it's one of those moments where you're just like, because like it's only one of those things where it's further pushing into your head, like as the sheriff and things like that, you're failing at your job. You're literally being pushed around by arguably a person that doesn't have authority over you.
I mean, he's the mayor.
All. He's the mayor, yes, but he doesn't have authority. The chief is the one who has the authority in the town. The mayor can be just a figurehead, and he's a show person.
But then again, it's like, what good is having authority if nobody listens to you?
But that's what I mean.
If nobody gives a shit.
Because like the way the mayor is spinning it, it's as if it's Brody's fault.
Martin, what have you done?
Continuously to happen. So like the way you gotta spin the story real quick. The way this kind of shit is spun around is that consistently when bad shit happens, it's Brody's fault.
You didn't do it quick enough, or you did it too early.
Yeah.
You know, like he can't win. He really can't win. But he kind of gets a little bit of like the mayor finally starts to kind of like, okay, like I fucked up, like fine. Where they're like in the hospital or whatever like that, and he's like, I'm so sorry, and he's like, give me your fucking checkbook. You're gonna write a checkbook, or you're gonna write a check for 10 grand. We're gonna hire this fucking Quint bitch, and he's gonna go out and fucking kill this shark, Larry. And then they like leave, and like that's kind of the last that we see of Larry in this movie. He's also in the second movie, kind of not fulfilling the same role, but like kind of, where it's like, no, we have to have these beaches open, but it's like, yeah, but there is sharks in these fucking waters, Larry. Are you fucking dumb? Are you stupid?
And also, it's never confirmed whether there's more than one. You know what I mean? Well, for us, like the audience, we know it's only one.
Yeah.
But for like them, as far as they know,
they don't know that there isn't like multiple sharks out there. Yeah. And I actually always thought about the filming of this, right? Where I was like, yeah, okay, I'm out in the middle of the ocean and stuff like this. And like this movie was just plagued with production problems. We were supposed to see the shark more times, but there's like that famous thing of like, the shark is not working, the shark isn't working. And like basically the way they had this was like, it's actually very, very kind of like rudimentary, but like I think it's really effective. Is they just had this big platform that was like at the bottom of wherever they were in the ocean, with like a crane with a shark stuck on top of it, and that was just how they like got it around and shit like this. And shout out to Verna Fields, the like editor of this movie. She like pretty much like everybody in all of the behind the scenes was basically like, this was mom, like she was like this shit, like everybody loved her. And I think she won a Academy Award for this. I think she was awarded for this, and I think she was like the first female editor. I'm not sure, but she was like, she's very, very like highly acclaimed. But yeah, this movie was supposed to have way more shark in it, and I'm really glad that they didn't. I think this is one of kind of, I don't mean pioneers, but this is kind of this movie is kind of a champion of like less is more, where everything is kind of implied, and you can imagine how big the shark is by getting little flashes of a fin or a whatever. They even say when this sign is defaced, it's like that fin is like proportionally right, and it's this like huge gigantic fin next to this girl, you know.
They actually, I'm just looking at the Academy Awards. Best Original Score for John Williams. He was the winner.
Of yours?
Verna Fields, Best Film Editing.
Yes, that was right.
And Best Sound Mixing for Roger Herman Jr. and Earl Madory. They did get nominated for Best Picture, but they didn't win.
What was best? I wonder what was...
That is a good question.
I wonder what were the rest of the categories if Jaws didn't win that year. Because I think Star Wars, but I don't think... Like, Star Wars was same year, but I don't think Star Wars even got nominated for anything like that.
Oh my god, Best Picture. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That was the winner.
That's a weird pick over Jaws. Yeah. Although I get it. See, like we said last week, make it long, make it boring. I'm joking. I love that. No, I love that.
Come on, Nurse Ratchet.
Well, no, not today. Not today.
No, not today. The hair is not.
On the back.
The hair is right, though.
If you guys can't see him featuring on Mall Pony, well, I say if you guys can't see. Shout out to the blind.
So please stop talking. Wrong for a podcast to say that.
That's the deaf, Nathan. I can speak louder if you guys need to. No, John, that's terrible.
Oh my god, no. So like, we kind of move like very quickly because like I mean they've hired and like they're going out onto the boat, and the thing you actually just said that they like have there's a few days in the book.
Yeah, like there's a couple of they go out and then they kind of come home, and then one of the days it's really like shitty out, and it actually kind of leads up to how Matt Hooper is kind of caught in a way where he claims he was out on because they like take Ben Gardner's boat back in and like are using it kind of whatever, and one of them was like a rainy day, so they couldn't go out, and they were like, right, well, where the fuck was Hooper then? Because and then Chief Brody has gone around and kind of like calling his hotel and being like, oh, he was here and blah blah blah. What was I saying?
About how many times?
Oh yeah. They like come back in a couple of days, but with this, they go out and they don't come back until they survive. Yeah. So like they go out, they're out for I think 3 days, 2 nights. Did you notice in one of the scenes with the shooting star?
Yeah.
I thought that was like really really cool. It was like a nice like.
It's prophecy fulfillment. They knew they were gonna win.
Well, to me, no joke, that kind of is like a good omen. In a way, just to show like how successful this thing is. Like everybody like knows about Jaws, even if they haven't seen it. Like this movie is just, I think it's like it really is a landmark in just cinema. Yeah. In general, you know what I mean? Like you said at the start, it like kind of invented the summer movie. People really started chucking their movies out at this time of year in hopes to kind of replicate this success. You know, like people really started to pay attention to all that. But yeah, so they kind of jump out on the boat, the Orca, of course. And like, again, I always thought Quint was like way more serious and like, as a kid. But I'm like, this kid's a clown. Yeah. Like, he's great. Like, I would very definitely go out sailing with him and like drink beer. And they even have that scene where they first get out on the boat where he drinks a beer and he looks over at Hooper and he like crushes it in his hand. And Hooper has like a styrofoam cup and he does the same thing. And there's such a cute little like dynamic between them two because it's very like, oh, come the fuck on, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it seems like hatred at the very very start because it's like
it's a rivalry because
exactly.
They both know
we're both ocean men, we're both seamen, kind of whatever. But yeah, I think their dynamic is really cute because Chief Brody kind of disappears until basically the end when they get on the boat. And I even love his moment where they're all kind of comparing scars and like cuts and all this kind of stuff like that, and Chief Brody kind of like lifts up his shirt to see like an appendix scar removal, and he kind of puts it down. He doesn't even mention it. You know, it's so cute.
Again, like it's those moments of like endearment. Yeah, because you care about these people. You care about these people, and like again, like the shark is not out to get them. Yeah. It's just
they're hunting it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like they're out to get the shark. Yeah, you know, it's like when you look at Texas Chainsaw from Leatherface's perspective. That's just a movie about like teenagers breaking into his house. You know, it's like they're out here actively hunting the shark, and then they're like, what the fuck, bro? Why do you hate us?
Yeah.
You know? And then at the end, it kind of does become like a Moby Dick thing where it's like Quint is willing to like ruin his boat and like lose his equipment and all this kind of shit just to get this shark. It's like a personal vendetta now.
His life.
And his legs. Yeah. You can do a lot with the top half of a man's body.
Oh, God, please. For the love of fucking God, don't go there. Seriously. He can't walk there, so you don't go there, okay?
It's less for me to carry. I'm just saying, if anybody out here wants to make...
Like carrying this conversation.
If anybody else out here wants to make a
snuff film.
Robert Shaw Quint
oh my
cut in
God.
half fleshlight sex doll.
Oh my God.
Hit me up.
That's so oddly specific. I can't actually get
whatever. I've seen Pennywise Thrusy fleshlights. Yeah, with a light in the end. Yeah. Whatever, Nathan.
Oh yeah.
Go row up.
Now, with the way this shark bites it, pun intended.
Are we going there already?
I don't know.
There's so much in between.
Okay.
We got the USS Indianapolis.
All right, go ahead then. Go on.
Okay, so yeah, they're like little banter of like they do like their first day of fishing and they kind of see the shark. This is where we get like kind of the famous quotes. Like when they show a clip from Jaws on TV, these are the clips of the show. Yeah. Like the "You're gonna need a bigger boat" and the "Oh yeah, I can go slow ahead. Why don't you come down and chump some of this shit?" And he throws the thing.
He's got the cigarette in his mouth.
It just shoots right up like Dracula out of the coffin. And like we didn't say, but like Chief Brody is like terrified of water, like just in general. So like I don't know, like it adds a whole extra element of like he's just completely like.
Because his wife says that even when they're traveling on the boat, he would sit in the car.
Such a baby.
Fucking baby.
But like, and then on the like in the book again, it's like there's all this tension between Hooper and Brody because like Hooper doesn't know that Brody's onto him, but Brody doesn't know that he's necessarily onto Hooper because it's all suspicion. So there's all this kind of like
side-eyeing and everything.
My wife or no? And Chief Brody is a lot more like aggressive in the book. He's less kind of passive. Like a lot of stuff just kind of happens to him. You know, like he doesn't really put himself in shitty positions, in the movie or whatever like that. It all is just kind of thrust on him. Yeah. And we get kind of like our first real glimpse of the shark, like face to face. Yeah. Where it comes up out of the water. And like I still think it looks great, even though it's kind of
years on. Absolutely years on, it still does look great. And I will give it to like they did put a lot of effort into like doing real good animatronics. However, most of the time they obviously not working. Yeah. But like it still looks good. And I know they only built like half the shark or something like that, wasn't it?
I think they had a total of like 4 sharks. They had a shark that was like complete on one side and then like mechanics on the other side, so that they use it for the shot of like going in and out of the estuary where we see it like kind of in scale with Sean on the beach. And then they had one that was the opposite of that where the mechanics were on the other side, and then they had I think a half shark and then a complete shark. So they could use them for like all these different things. And like some of the animatronics do vary a lot. Like that one animatronic where it gets the guy on the boat looks very different to the shark that pops up there. Yeah. It's like 3 times the size. It's huge. Yeah. And there's that really like I'll put this up on the pod. It's like one of my favorite pictures ever. It's a picture of Bruce, the animatronic. With Steven Spielberg just sitting in the thing like that, like the Rocky Horror lips kind of. Yeah, I love that. Also, Rihanna did a nod to that on I think a Vogue cover, where it's her like full fashion, but like in a big like animatronic shark mouth. It looked so fucking cool. But yeah, I think like the kind of shark not working was way more of a blessing than a curse. I think that if they showed the shark a lot more, like they do in the second movie. Oh god, like there's one scene in particular in the second movie where they're trying to get Michael back up off the boat or whatever like that, and the shark comes up and it like the animatronic like collapses in on itself. It looks awful, but like
and then you get that famous miniature shark in the water. It gets blown up at the end.
Oh God.
Oh, it was awful. I couldn't I couldn't
in this in the first one.
No, in the oh God, I think it's like the fourth one, because they just really did not care about the franchise anymore.
Even in that last scene in the finale, me and my granddad are kind of like big film nerds, pointed it out, where in the finale of the fourth movie, in The Revenge, it's a backdrop. It's a painted backdrop because you can see water splashing up against it. They're in like a small little tank. You know, it's awful. It's so bad.
It really is. Like, the quality, when Spielberg leaves the franchise, the quality drops dramatically.
Dipped heavily.
Yeah. Dipped like my headlights. That was a terrible one.
There you go. So we have... Sorry, I'm going to take this away from in front of my face. I'm using it like a microphone. So yeah, that's probably awful for audio, sorry.
Yes.
Just speaking into a cup. But yeah, so we have this kind of like, I think it's the first night after they kind of like, they get a barrel in the shark to kind of like, and this is really smart. I never knew what they were for when I was a kid, because you know certain things in movies you just don't like kind of put together for yourself. You don't question why they're happening.
I never did, because I was never a kid.
Never a child.
Never a child, ever.
I can tell you what it was like. But
Please don't.
I was only a child like a couple of years ago. And until I die, I'll be a child of God. A hairless child of God.
A cherub with a fat ass.
Show me how that cherub fart. But
so sharks.
But yeah. No, we kind of get like, they sink the barrel and they're kind of like, right, fuck it, we're gonna have like a couple of drinks, we're gonna like chill out and like whatever. And they're really only are like they're really not that far off the coast. I remember when I was younger thinking that this was just like
miles out in sea.
You're just gonna leave me like this?
Yep.
You do it like that?
The cat has moved on from you.
Whatever. Keep your fucking asshole to yourself.
Stop flashing your asshole at me. This cat likes
That's my
flashing
job.
his asshole. Flowers in full bloom.
But yeah, so they kind of they're like, okay, right, fuck it. Like, there's a barrel in him, and we're like really underestimating this shark. Like, even Quint, who is like the pro. Like, when we see his shop, it's like covered in shark jaws and all that shit.
I love that window shot with like, the jaw the whole way around it. Yeah,
it's so good. And they're kind of like, they have this little like kind of camaraderie moment where they're all kind of like comparing scars and injuries and all that kind of shit. And then Hooper is like, it's Brody. He's like, what's that one on your arm? And we get like this story, which was originally going to be the sequel to Jaws. There wasn't going to be like a third and a fourth and all that kind of shit. It was just going to be tangentially kind of attached to, like, we were going to follow Quint. So he was on the USS Indianapolis, which, as we know now, was the submarine that was delivering the Hiroshima bomb. So there is no distress signal, no nothing, and they got attacked by a Japanese sub also. And then they're just getting like eaten by all these sharks. They said there was like 1,000 men or something like that in the water, and then like 6 every hour would just get like snatched. But like, I would love to see that.
Yeah.
You know, I think if they were ever going to make anything else new kind of attached to Jaws at all, it should be that story, because I think like it's far enough removed, you know. I also think if they're ever going to do anything with Jaws, they shouldn't do a Great White. It shouldn't be in Amity again. Like, I think they should.
Let's do a Megalodon. Let's just completely remove it and go for a Megalodon.
That was another fun shark movie. It wasn't good, like the Meg. I actually had kind of a good time, but
I thought it was fun.
It was. I don't know. I just like seeing sharks. Even shitty shark movies are entertaining. At best.
True. I mean, Sharknado just.
It's
so
rather
good. Scraping the bottom of the barrel.
But like, they know that. I like the fact that they're kind of like
self-aware. I mean,
Alaska
they're like
whatever.
Is in
Alaska and Latoya and Kim
it's time
Richards
traveling or something.
Yeah, that's the one. It's like
you know,
they go back
you're
in
really
time.
Scraping the barrel when you're
they have
time
Kim
traveling.
Richards, one of the Kyle Richards, the girl who plays Lindsay. Her sister is also an actress, and she's in one of the Sharknadoes.
Wow.
And like I think the main character is like Robert Carr. She's like, I'm gonna lose my job, and then like a shark falls from the sky and just crushes it. She just gets scraped along. It's so good. But yeah, so then they're like having this like jovial like blah 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 moment, and then it like becomes like really, really like sullen, and it becomes this like big story.
Somber and dark, yeah.
And the subtitles on this movie on Netflix last night were making me scream because it was like, music becomes curious, then music becomes ominous. You know, music is hopeful. You know, it's like a slight change in horns, and it's like, oh, the music has changed its mind. But like, this story is great. You know, and he's talking about like these screaming and hollering and rolling. He's like, they got that. He talks about this shark or about sharks the same way, like it does. He talks about sharks the same way like Dr. Loomis talks about Michael in Halloween, where it's like it's evil. You know, I don't know. I want to see that.
The blood and the screaming. I was just thinking of Summer from Rick and Morty. Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm getting, like, when you're saying that, I'm getting Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, I was even saying this to you earlier. Like, I know it is John Williams and it is Steven Spielberg, but like, I could not hear Jurassic Park in the score this time. Like, just like listening to it.
You could not hear it?
I couldn't like unhear it.
Oh, right.
Like or I almost said John Waters.
John
Williams. Yeah. Jaws directed by John Waters. Can you imagine?
My God.
Divine as the shark. Oh my God. That would be lit. I want to see that so bad.
Oh my God.
But
just comes out like half Ursula Sea Witch.
Yeah. I only ate pieces of shit. Yeah. Just when you thought it was safe to shit in the water. Yeah. I love that.
Divine into half a fish.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh my God.
But yeah, it's divine like as Ursula, but like it's divine on the bottom, shark on the top. Half a pink flamingo, half a shark.
Oh God,
that'd be gorgeous.
Fabulous.
I would like to see that.
It's an invention.
I would like to see it.
It's camp.
We said it here first, ladies and gents.
Very camp.
And whatever else in between.
Everything. Love it.
You can't see that because remember, shout out to the blind.
Oh my God! Stop! Stop it! Stop it right now! Stop it!
I know the blind can see right through my jokes. Oh, but wait, they can't because they're blind.
Well, yeah, we're being sensitive about people's gender identities, but physical malformities and differently abled people, you're just gonna like shit on.
I don't know any blind people.
That's your excuse?
Show me a blind. And you want to really impress me? Have a blind show you me. I'm sorry, I just don't think they should be around anymore.
Oh my God.
No, I'm joking.
Oh my God.
No, I love the blind. You can't see as I wink wink. But
and the deaf can't hear you do that.
I'm signing, but we're on a podcast, yeah. Oh my God, speaking of podcasts, I don't know if you know, we do a podcast.
Yeah, we do that.
That's my like job description on Tinder. Is podcaster.
For now.
Yeah, I'm unemployed as fuck, bro.
Support us on Patreon when we have a Patreon.
Just send us money. We'll stick the IBAN up on the Insta.
Send it to me.
Actually, yeah, send Nathan like, what is it? How much was the mic?
We're gonna cut this. I'm gonna cut all of this.
No, how much was the mic?
I'm not telling you. I'm not saying. It's rude.
Send Nathan like 50 quid.
It was not 50 quid.
No, but that's half of it.
Okay, fair enough.
Send Nathan like 50 quid and then I'll own 50% of the company. And you can
it's like you're the owner.
And like, I can have the 1% back. No, 51%.
51% of this company is mine.
Yeah.
I'll take it. And I'll cash out. Last in, first out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm just gonna make an agreement.
Can we talk about a fucking man-eating shark, please?
Leave this in there.
We literally just had like a business conference in the middle of that.
No, for real, the blind love it. Would you rather I pretend they didn't exist?
They can really see through what you're talking about here, okay?
They can't see. But I think that's the whole point. Wait, why would the blind listen to this? It's a podcast about movies.
Now you see.
And everybody knows they don't let the blind into theaters. Can't you see what you're doing to us? No, I can't. Because I'm blind. You gonna come up?
Oh my god. Okay, right. Tell me, how does the shark die?
Ow! 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 Fuck! That's my flesh. For what? For trying to get people to send you money?
The cat just tried to snub him.
It's a pretty kitty.
Right, so a shark. So a shark tries to eat people.
So yeah, they have their little like powwow on the boat, and it kind of gets like real serious, all this kind of shit, and then like the shark just starts like, oh, fuck these guys. It starts like.
Kicks it into overdrive.
Yeah.
It just snorted a load of coke. It's like, right, try to fucking get these guys.
Well, because it's like it's not. Okay.
I told you the cat is shedding. You don't fucking touch him.
Go over there. Go on, lie back in your position.
Oh my god.
Oh no, here, look. I'll give you a cushion, and then you can sit comfortably instead of clawing into my flesh.
Did you just try and shove him on with
my chest, with my torso? Sorry. They have their little like powwow, yeah, and the shark is just like, man, fuck these guys, and it's not even like trying to kill them, because as we can see later, it does, it has the power to like overpower the boat and stuff. Hold on.
The cat is trying to apologize for stabbing you. It's alright.
Just kidding. So yeah, I'm gonna say powwow for the 4th time. They had their little powwow.
A 5th time now, I'm guessing.
Sorry. No, they had their little kumbaya moment on the on the boat. And the shark just starts like kind of fucking with them, which then like leads into the next morning, and then they're like immediately fishing again or whatever, and they're like just
they're taking their sweet ass fucking time.
Well, because they're trying to tire him out. Like they're not trying to like fight this shark, because I think at this point, like they've seen the shark, and this is where we get the like, it's 20 foot, no, 25. Where we get that, and we see like the scale of the shark next to the boat is like almost like matched. Mm-hmm. Like the shark is almost like
the same size.
Yeah. And this is where we kind of get like Quint like launching all of these like.
God,
Quint is like launching all of these.
Start a point with that. So like, this is.
It's not even a gay thing. Well, it is very much a gay thing. It's literally just like. It's the sound that happens when I open my mouth and start talking. So they like they start launching all these barrels in kind of attempts to like just like Mike Tyson the fuck out of it, like just like tire him out, let him like run around and do his whatever, and they eventually get like 3 barrels into him, and Quint's like, there's no way he's gonna have 3 barrels, like there's no way like an animal could be that powerful, and it does, and this is like keeps going, and then it brings all these barrels down, and I think again this is another really great use of like less is more, or the like indicating that the shark is there without actually showing it. We got this earlier with the dock, when the dock collapses.
Well, the dock in turns
so scary, and it's just like the dock is just coming and coming and coming, and then it's just gone. Like the shark is just not there. Which again, I love the idea that the shark, maybe the shark is kind of a dick, because the shark didn't actually try and attack those people. It was just like, man, fuck you, just scaring them. But they were also trying to hunt the shark.
Yeah, true.
Whoa, am I a vegetarian? No. Am I on animal sides? No, I'm not. But
No. He says as he upturns his nose at it. No, I'm not.
I'm gonna eat your cat.
I don't care.
He said, yeah, he is.
Eat my ass first.
How did you wet my arm?
He drools.
I didn't even notice that. Go ahead.
He drool.
This podcast is now just me
Dream
on a
and
date
drool.
with your cat. But anyway, powwow.
Stop saying that word.
I can't. So
You can't face. What is it you can't face?
I can't face. But anyway, yeah, I love that like the barrels now become like an indicator for the shark, which is also a very like I don't look at it as like a cop out.
It's a budgetary. It's a magical use of budgetary constraints.
Yeah, I think it's like very, very smart.
It was actually a diver.
Yeah,
just like swimming.
But no, I actually think it's like very, very smart to like do that, because then it, like, I get you can look at it as like they were having technical problems, but also again I do think like, and this is rare for me to say like less is more, because I'm usually very like, I want a 3D printed model. I want to be able to like zoom in and look at every detail of the creature or the monster or the whatever it is. But like with this, it's like, damn, it's so scary. And like to see like it shows like the power and the strength and the speed of this shark, that it's able to outrun this boat with all these barrels on the back of it and not get tired at all and still just keep going, you know. But B, kind of save the team some shark handling shit, you know. And it's kind of right about this point where we start to get like small interjections of like real shark footage, shot by Valerie and Ron Taylor, in Australia. They actually were kind of tied in with the series for a long time. I think even all the way up until the fourth. Even with the third, they designed like chainmail. You know, like when divers gone out with diving with sharks, they have that chainmail.
Wearing armor.
They invented that. Like that's their invention. And at the time of Jaws 3 being filmed, there was only 2 in existence. There are 2, and one of them was worn in the movie. I always thought that was really cool. And these people are like all over the kind of behind the scenes and stuff. Like they're from Australia, and she has like a missing finger and shit. It's like, it's perfectly safe. As you see, they're like missing like a bunch of knuckles and shit, you know. But yeah, I think that this last like kind of third of the movie is like just, it's like my favorite part, because it's like a lot of just like good dialogue, some good scares, some good kind of like jovial moments and stuff like that as well. And yeah, of course we get to like see the shark, we get to like look the shark in the face, and it's big. The shark is really big.
That mouth is intimidating.
Show me what that mouth
do. The fact that you can show a shark that has one row of teeth, and then another row of teeth behind that, and then another row of teeth behind that.
Yeah.
Fuck me, that is terrifying.
Yes, I love that. And like
they're literally garbage disposable.
But creatures. They're like, when he says it's like it's an eating machine, and then like you kind of really simplify it down. It's like sharks don't swim. Sharks kind of don't even really mate. They kind of just, to be foul, they kind of just like a lot of animals do. They kind of just come everywhere and like hope for the best, and like whatever happens. Like there's not a lot of mating. They don't hang out together. So really, all they do is eat and swim and make other small sharks, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's their only purpose, you know. And even then, it's kind of accidental. It's not like like survival of the species kind of a thing. It's just like whatever happens.
Yeah.
So I think like sharks are just like, sharks are scary as fuck. But again, it's like they should be admired. You know what I mean? I think sharks are like, there has to be a reason why they're still relatively exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean nothing else besides like
birds,
cheetahs. Like lions, like the actual man-eaters on land, and maybe crocodiles and stuff. They're like top of the food chain, you know.
Yeah, like there's not much that eat sharks. There's a lot of like, I suppose sharks eat sharks, you know, but shark on shark crime, guys, it's really big at the moment.
It's a huge problem. Huge problem.
But like there's things that like fuck with sharks, like there's orcas and dolphins that will just like roll a shark over on its back. Or it's that, you know, that whole myth of like, oh, it's safe to swim because there's dolphins here. Not true. That means it's like probably also sharks right there, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think like there was not kind of a lot of information on sharks, or not like the plethora of information we have on sharks now then at the time.
It created that fear. It marinated that fear, really.
I really do think so, though. And like I think that's like kind of the big like Medal of Honor on Steven Spielberg's thing is the fact that he was able to like make we can't even get sharks here in Ireland. But I still am freaked out. I could swim in a lake and still think like, yeah, like what the fuck is in here?
Yeah,
it's like that like thalassophobia thing, like the just the fear of like openness and deep ocean and stuff like that.
There is something beneath you watching.
It's always that, you know.
Yeah.
It's just that like creepy thing. It's like if we were supposed to swim, we would
be.
We were supposed to swim. We did come from the ocean, though.
Yeah, we did.
This is a Jaws podcast. Ocean. This is a podcast about Jaws, and we're like, so evolutionary germs. When man first stepped out of the ocean.
Goodbye, ocean. So they blow up the shark.
There you go. There you go. Yes. I prefer this ending. I prefer the ending in the movie than I do to the book. The book is...
Oh, yes.
The book is... Like, I love the book, but the book is...
I said to you it's anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which again, I get, like, because it's like the book isn't so much about this being a monster. It's like they do treat it kind of very matter of fact, like the same way they would like a bear or whatever. But in this movie, it's like, and see, this is what like makes it cross over into horror for me, is the fact that it's not just like a shark. It's like a huge shark. Like it's gigantic, like monstrous sized, you know. So yeah,
she's a 25-footer.
25. I just said that to the cat. I didn't do that to you. Gave it a little rub. Like, did you hear me?
No, he's conked out. He's done. He's done with your bullshit for the day.
But yeah, so the book ends like very, very like anticlimactically. Like there's not a whole big like hullabaloo. Brody is the only one left. Like, Hooper's fucked. Like, on like both sides, because like they at the end they really start to make a point of like this shark is just fucking with us, like in the book, and it like gets Hooper and like brings him up into the air, and they kind of describe it as he was like showing off as being like like I got your fucking, we did it, Joe, we did it, like basically like I got your
You're gonna be my next victim.
You're gonna be the next president of the United States. And they start like shooting at the shark, and they shoot Hooper in the body and the neck.
Oh,
like he's already dead, but like they're still like, oh shit, okay.
I got you, Fred.
And Quint just kind of gets tied up in a rope that is attached to the shark, and then gets drowned. Like he is still killed by the shark, albeit like more indirectly than what we have in this. But this ending is so good. It's so iconic, and like, it's just so good. And I kind of like that they reserved all the blood until kind of the last like we get that with Alex Kintner, but that's kind of it. That's the only gore that we get until this. And I remember being like, fuck, like Robert Shaw is just getting eaten right here, just getting fucked up.
He's just like, and it's also a very slow process of his death. Like he's just like
slowly slipping and sliding.
Yeah, and he's like there's chomp after chomp after chomp where he's just like, you know, like going into it like a tree shredder, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like that thing where he's like kicking at his legs and shit, and it's like the shark is also kind of just like moving and shit.
Yeah.
You know? And the shark does that great move where it's like, and they show it. Like, I mean, like, technically this movie was like amazing for the time, and even still now it still holds up because they use practicals. But the shark just launches itself up out of the water and onto this boat, just like, and just starts sinking the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
And then it gets Shaw, and even then with Shaw, it's not like a bite done. It's like I'm gonna hold you in my mouth for a bit and thrash you around and shred you up. And I remember this is, I think, the first time I had seen a movie where like blood was like coming out of someone's mouth.
Yeah.
Where he just like, ugh, and it's all going everywhere.
Yeah.
I remember being like, fuck. And then he just gets like, just carried down in. It's so good.
Yeah, and it's sad too. It is.
It's very sad.
Like you get like the whole kind of last it's like nearly 45 minutes.
Yeah, the last hour is kind of spent on the ocean.
Yeah, and it's like, because like it's a further kind of push into that area where like they're trying to get you to really care about these three characters before bam, we kill one, boom, we kill the other, and then he's the last one, you know what I mean? And then by that time, like, you're seriously rooting for Brody to just shoot the shit out of this fucking thing, you know?
Oh, it's so good. But like, so they think Hooper's dead. I mean, he's not, which I think they should have killed him in this movie, because he doesn't do anything. He just it's like,
just there.
I'm back. Yeah, he just comes back or whatever. And that's a great scene in the shark cage, though.
Yeah,
it's like the first time we actually
terrifying.
get to. It really is. Like, it really is. And like, again, like Val and Rod Taylor, they got that like really incredible footage of that shark getting stuck in the cage.
Oh.
It was actually a miniature cage with a miniature Matt Hooper in it, so that the shark would look gigantic, because the shark next to it is huge.
Yeah.
And they actually used some of that footage in another one of the shark attacks in Jaws 2. I noticed that again last night. But the practical, not the practicals, the practical, like the actual shark going through really gives it like an extra, kind of like a level of like realism, I guess. Because they showed just enough of the shark that you weren't able to get a good look at it and be like, oh, that looks so fake. Like, it's a flash here or there, or it's the side of the body or the whatever. But
I think it's more intimidating. Like, seeing less of it is more intimidating.
It is. It's the idea of like whatever you can imagine, or just
it's
giving you like
scary,
a general, like when you hear 25 foot, right, and then you think like, yo, I'm like 5, almost 6 foot. Like
it's
5
4
of me.
5 of me. Yeah.
That's insane when you think about it. You know,
Yeah.
like the idea that like this thing could literally just swallow you whole. You know, like, and again, I always come back to Alex Kittner when I'm just like this was a child going up against this shark. Like, what the fuck, like, could have been done at all? You know?
I could just imagine it, like, there is a chomp or two that would be needed for a fully grown man, but for a kid, he would have just swallowed straight in, down the gullet, gone.
It's so scary when you think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think they should have killed Hooper in the movie, just because he doesn't serve any more purpose. But then we kind of get the, like, okay,
Martin, I would have seen if he had lived, if they had kept that storyline from the book where he was fucking his wife, Brody's wife, I would have been like, like that's where that tension can be put. But like,
because it is also part of it in the book as well, where it's kind of like a, am I gonna help this guy if he's in trouble or no? You know, but like again, like Brody is kind of like a chaotic good, like in the D&D scale. Like, he's not like a shitty person at all. Whereas like even Quint in the book is actually nicer. He's like kind of an older, fatter, kind of like more like like kind of Popeye-ish sailor man in this. But damn, in the movie they make him so much more kind of like
brooding,
like gruff and seaman and all that kind of stuff like that. But like, again, I didn't even notice before how like hilarious he was. Just like constant jokes and shit. But anyway, everybody's dead. Brody is left. The boat is sinking, and like, I couldn't even imagine just being like, A, just being on a sinking boat, and then B, being on a sinking boat knowing that like everybody around you has just been eaten and like, dead, you know. And this, it's so good. He has that little like kind of encounter with the shark in the cabin where it like actually breaks like physically into the boat, and he throws the air canister in. And I was like, that's so smart. Like, it's so good. And they even set that up earlier. They're like, if you step on these, they're gonna blow up or whatever. And one thing I noticed, right, when he's shooting at the shark, did you notice it making a funny noise?
No.
The shark goes. You can get the clip up if you want to. When he shoots at the shark, I don't know what it is, but the shark goes, oh, like 3 times.
Oh god.
When we finish this, we'll get it up on Netflix. Shoots the shark a bunch of times, and the shark just makes the noise. Oh. It always made me laugh. And Birdie gets it. Smile, you son of a bitch.
Wow.
Blows the fucking shark up, which devastated me as a child.
But also, like I said earlier, there's no guarantee that there's just the one shark.
Well, yeah, my logic after that is like, if one shark can come here, why the fuck can't like 50 sharks come here?
But also, there's blood and guts in the water. There's one half a dead man, and a completely blown up to bits shark.
Yeah, that's gonna attract all the shit around here.
Yeah, so, and like especially because the boat is sinking. He has nowhere to go.
No, and like you can see land over there, but it's a good fucking distance away. Like, he's not gonna be able to just swim there. You know, he's gonna have to float for a bit. And I think they even riff on that in the Meg, where they kill the Meg, and then all these other sharks just kind of come out of the woodworks and start feasting on this thing, because that's what sharks and animals do when there's a huge body in the thing, in the water. It's just going to be an attraction for all this other shit. I actually don't know if I even mentioned this earlier. I was saying about the filming, the idea that like film pronounce it so Irish to pronounce the U in film. Film. But like the idea that like, okay, I know that I'm filming with a fake shark. Filming. I know that I'm like filming. Recording with a fake shark. we're still out here in the middle of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
We're thrashing around. We've got what is real chum. You know what I mean? How the fuck do I know I'm not about to get fucking wrecked over here? Because we caught a real tiger shark. But yeah, in the book, it's so anticlimactic. The shark just dies of exhaustion. And just dies. God. And sinks to the bottom. Which, that's again, it's like, it's good for a nature documentary, but not for, like, a movie.
Yeah.
You know, but, damn.
I wonder what the thinking process was behind the author's mind when he was like, let me just kill it with exhaustion. Like, after dealing with so much and going into detail about how terrifying this thing is...
Just decides to die.
It just decides to...
Oh, fuck this. Seriously. Get the Azealia. Whatever. Next episode, I guess. But, yeah.
Well, speaking of next episode...
Jesus, well, are we... Wagwan. Jesus Christ, hold on. So yeah, then Brody gets that like famous line and blows the fucking shark the fuck up.
Actually, doesn't even finish that.
Smile, you son of a... And then it blows up, yeah.
Yeah.
It's excellent, and that was Jaws.
And like does it just end there?
Okay, well, it ends and the shark, we get to see the shark's body from underneath the water. Like kind of falling down. It's actually a really beautiful shot of this like shark with like the ropes and other like whatever was tangled up in it.
Mm-hmm.
And we also get to see pieces of Quint like in its teeth.
Yeah.
When like we see like close-ups of the shark after the fact, there's like meat and like shredded all this shit everywhere. And yeah, we get to see the shark kind of just like floating down. And a fact that I learned on the DVD when I was a kid was he used a sound from Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World of a T-Rex like roaring or whatever for the sound of the shark like floating down onto the bottom floor. So when you can hear it, it's literally like oh. So to me it sounds like it's like the idea of like, okay, like you won, like Brody versus the monster. It's like the monster is like defeated, and it's the idea of this like huge creature just like, because I would feel terrible after that. You know, I hate the idea of like this is my rule with spiders. It's like, look, just because you're the biggest spider in the shed doesn't mean I'm going to kill you. Like I think that's fucked up to kill something because it's magnificent. You know, it's like, just leave it alone, or deal with the fact that you're fucking going to have to work around the economics of there being a shark in your town. Don't just go out and fucking kill it. That's what the Americans do. Shout out to you, Lena. Yeah. But yeah, that was Jaws. I'm sorry, I kind of just talked at you for like 2 hours about this movie. I've waited all my life to have a platform to just come and be like, come, honey.
Set phasers to come.
Be Matthew Lillard in 13 Ghosts.
Oh God.
13 Loads. No, but seriously, I've like kind of always wanted like a little platform to come and just rant about Jaws, just chat about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Well, just as I thought.
Sharks. No, but for real,
Well,
I had a really good time rewatching this last night. I watched this movie probably like twice a year. Shout out Azealia Banks.
Well, okay, so next week, what do you got for me?
Jesus.
We got a selection process again.
Yeah. So next week? Question mark. So next week, it's that time of the month again.
Really? I thought that was. Isn't there a cycle there?
It can vary. I've linked up with all my girls, which is true. Theory confirmed. I get sympathy cramps.
Okay, right. Okay, whatever. What's your movie?
My movie is Bone Tomahawk, released in 2015, starring Kurt Russell. Daddy. So, I've written a letter to your dad. It's just a new drawing of me. So, in the Old West, a sheriff played by Kurt Russell and his deputy, a gunslinger, and a cowboy embark on a mission to rescue 3 people from a savage group of cave dwellers. It sounds like The Descent, but it isn't. It's like That's what I even said. Yeah.
Like The Descent.
It's just because there's cave dwellers. It's just because I said to you, like I even said to you right before we like came back to record. I was like, if I read the description of this first, I probably wouldn't have watched this. Yeah. But I watched it on like a whim. I saw like one tiny scene from it. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. I'm gonna watch the rest of this, and it was great.
Well, my film is You're Next, a 2011 film directed by Adam Wingard. When the Davison family comes under attack during their wedding anniversary getaway, the gang of mysterious killers soon learns that one of the victims harbors a secret talent for fighting back.
It's Lara Croft. I'm joking.
It's basically Home Alone, but like Home Invasion if they wanted to kill you.
Home Alone if actual real world physics existed.
Yeah.
There's no reason those burglars shouldn't have been fucking dead.
Mm-hmm.
They in the second movie he throws bricks at them from like the top of a building and they're just like, oh, it's
he also like flings heavy paint cans.
They should be dead.
From like they smack to the face.
They should be dead. Also, Harry, the one with the curly hair, the sticky bandit, gets electrocuted to the point where he becomes a skeleton for a minute and then goes back to normal. And
then he also freezes completely for one, and then the other guy has his whole head on fire. Oh my god, you just touched my tail. I did not give you consent. The cat just totally
non-consensual tail holding. Fuck. Look at my arm hair.
Oh, gross. So, that's it for today. You've been listening to They're Here.
Podcast.
Cut that dead ass.
That was just like thrust out of me.
Yeah.
Podcast.
Man, fuck this episode.
She's a good.
She's a 25 footer.
You want to say goodbye?
Is the cat going to say goodbye? Is the kitty going to be a dick? I guess not. So make sure to like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram for daily updated content. And if you have any recommendations, comments below, let us know what you think.
And all that.
So yeah.
Au revoir.
Und
unpleasant dreams.
Dreams.
Baby. Oh, now you're done.